Pause. iPhone mic.
Well, you can guess what I ended up having to do today. Had to throw away a container of super soft butter because I left it out between 6:30 a.m. and what's the time now? It's
1:33 p.m.
1:33. So it's 1:33 now. So I left it out between 6:30 and 1:30 p.m. today. 6:30 a.m. this morning to 1:30 today. So it was out for nearly 8 hours and I had to chuck it out.
1:34 p.m. Status bar item. Speech off. Speech on. Record settings. Settings. Record iPhone -0. Speech off.
Because I had a lot of trouble accepting the fact that I could get food poisoning and die from it. So I thought, well, I've got butter in the fridge, which I use for cooking, but that's neither here nor there. I've got a glass container which I can put it in, so how hard is it to wash the container and simply put a new block of butter in it? Whenever I buy butter, can't be that difficult. So I think from now on I'll just be buying butter, and you leave it out for approximately 20 minutes. And then you've got to, when you make your sandwiches, you then got to work out how to know that everything's been put away off the bench, because I always have trouble remembering what I've put back in the fridge. So when I come back to the bench later, I find rotten food that's been out for more than 2 hours. So it's been sitting there between 5 and 8 hours because I didn't know it was on the bench. I don't remember what I've put away and what I've put left on the bench. I just don't have any memory. I can't tell. So yeah, I'm going to start getting rid of some stuff that I don't need in here. Okay. I want cream cheese. That's what I want, is cream cheese, lettuce. So I want cream cheese, I want lettuce, I want not that yet, that's fruit, no, that's fine. Chicken. Yes. And okay, where's that salad? Tomato and cucumber and all this shit that I wanted so badly. I think it's that one. Is it that one? Yes, it is. Oh, it's got a smell to it. Not a bad smell, it's just there. And I want, what am I going to have with it? Chicken, lettuce, raspberries in there. That potato can go in the bin, and so can that container of food that I can eat. That can go in the bin as well. I don't eat any food out of that fridge, it just gets chucked in the bin. I'm just waiting for the bits of frozen bread to thaw out on my plate. Actually, that's what I like about getting really thick bread, is you leave it out for 10 minutes and then you can get the bits of bread apart and then put it on your plate and put the bread in the freezer and go about your business and everything. Now, when you get thin slices of bread, it breaks up when you're trying to pull it apart. You're trying to pull the slices apart because they're stuck together, and yeah, it just doesn't work if they're just thin slices of bread. So that's very weird. But anyway, what else have we got in the fridge here? Is that it? Oh, there's yogurt's been sitting there for weeks. Can go in the bin as well. See, I don't eat anything that I put in my fridge. I just don't eat it. Just don't eat any of it. I just don't. It all goes to waste. So, yeah, don't know what I'm going to do about all the waste, but it's like it's driving me mad and I just can't help it. Just can't help it. I think that's why I haven't got any shopping. Well, I'm getting shopping tomorrow, so that's okay. But I'm not getting any more shopping until next Wednesday because I don't eat. I don't eat much anymore. I don't think that's a really good excuse because I need to be able to eat, but the fact is I don't eat. I eat occasionally, but not, so much that I considered eating regularly anymore. I don't know if it's because I go out too much and I forget that I've got food in the fridge so I don't eat it. Or don't be offended, Stephanie or Stacey. I don't think Stacey listens, but I know Stephanie does. I don't want Stephanie or Stacey to be offended because it's not. Well, put it this way, if it sounds offensive, I'm not trying to be offensive, I'm just being honest, just to put the point across that I do waste a lot of food. Anyway, when Stacey comes over, I don't tend to eat anything apart from a bit of bread. I don't tend to eat much that comes out of the fridge. When Stacey's here, I tend to eat stuff from Menelog or Uber Eats. I don't scrounge through that fridge or through that freezer until I find something, nor do I scrounge through the pantry until I find something decent to eat. It always seems to be that when Stacey's around or I've got other friends around, nothing comes out of that fridge. Maybe once in like 24 hours do I scrounge through that fridge just to eat a couple of bits and pieces. And then once they leave, guess what happens? Oh, I'm too tired to cook. Oh, I don't even know what's in the fridge, so I'll just sit back and watch telly instead. Guess what? I forget to check what's in the fridge, and next week, oh shit, I was meant to eat that last week. Shit, I was meant to eat that 2 days ago. Fuck, I was meant to eat this. I was meant to eat that. Guess where it goes? In the bin. Like a few days ago, I had a mate come around for dinner. What happened? I didn't get the yogurt out of the fridge because I forgot it was in there. I didn't say, hang on mate, let me scrounge through the fridge to see what I've got there to put with the strawberries to eat. Nope, I never did that. For some reason, I just forget to look through my fridge for weeks, and then I find things that, I was meant to eat this and I was meant to eat that, and it doesn't get eaten. It just gets thrown away. And I'm like, this needs to stop happening. This really needs to stop, because I buy things thinking it's going to get eaten this week, but then next week I go, fuck, I need to scrounge in the fridge. What was I meant to eat last week? Most of it goes in the bin, doesn't it? So now again, Stephanie, don't be offended, but if you're also listening, Stacey, whether you do or not, I don't know, but if you're going to come around, don't be offended if I haven't bought anything. The only reason I won't buy anything is not just for you, or just because you're here, or just because I don't like buying anything when you come over. I don't mean it to come across that way, but the reason I won't buy things is because I know it's not going to get eaten. So next time I have friends come over, if I don't buy anything, or I only offer to buy a couple of things, don't take offence. It's so that I don't waste food, such as not eating food that I put in the fridge, or wasting money on stuff that I buy that I'm not going to eat. So please don't take offence if I choose not to buy anything. I know we're going to eat from Menalog and Uber Eats and all those places, all those takeaway apps, so I have no reason to buy anything. Actually, what I am offended by, and don't take this personally, I'm just offended. Why is it that, and okay, this does depend on the situation, I know, but it seems that the only time I truly get to eat anything that I buy from the shops, to eat at home, is actually when I don't have friends around. And not to sound mean, but how come we have to eat off takeaway websites? Why do we have to buy takeaway food? Why can't we say, look, one of us go to the shop and buy a pizza base and some toppings, and hey, I don't mind doing the cooking. It's my unit anyway, so don't get upset if you don't help me cook. I'm the one that should be cooking, so don't mind me. At the same time, why can't one of us buy food from the shops, and even if people help me prepare it, we do it at home, instead of always buying food from Menalog and Uber Eats and Eat Now. And hey, I will admit that it's much easier to buy food from Eat Now. That's why I've got it on my phone, because I'm not totally going to cut it out of my life forever. What I'm saying is, why can't we revert to eating food that we make at home, like sandwiches or homemade spaghetti bog and things like that? Why do we have to buy food from takeaway websites or takeaway on, eating apps, when it's just as simple to spend $30 at Aldi or at Woolworths or at Coles or at your local IGA, buy a few things and eat at home, or take it to the park and eat at the park. You don't need to spend money on Subway and KFC and Japanese food Admittedly, it's hard to make Japanese food, so you could make an exception to Japanese food, because that's hard to make, and fish and chips is hard to make. So forget about Japanese food and fish and chips. You can buy that any time because it's hard to make it at home, so you buy it. At the same time, why do you have to do that when you can say, look, I don't want Japanese food tonight. I like Hungry Jacks and all these other foods, but they're greasy and fattening. I think I might make a hamburger tonight. We'll go to the shops and get bread rolls and hamburgers and make burgers, or rump steak or whatever to put on the burger. You can even do hot chicken and chips, as in go to like KFC or Red Rooster and buy the chips, or use Menulog to order drinks and chips. Then make your own burger and put those chips on there and have your drinks that you've bought. Why do you need to buy an entire meal when all you need is to buy the chips and the drinks? And then go to the shop and get the bread rolls and get the meat and cook it at home and make it yourself and use the prepared hot chips. So while I'm cooking burgers, someone could buy the takeaway while I'm cooking the meat. So I could say, let's have burgers and chips. Could someone get onto Menulog or Uber and buy chips and drinks? I will be making the burgers. We can have anything on there. We can have salad, we can have meat, we can have vegetarian patty, we can have just a bread roll and cheese if you want. Why can't we do that kind of deal? It'll save on a lot of money. Or I could buy the Japanese food because I know how much I love Japanese food. Somebody else buy salad. I won't buy Japanese salad when I could just buy a mixture of sushi, a couple of other little side dishes like spring rolls and things like that. Somebody then goes and gets coleslaw and lettuce and tomato, and we all have salad and Japanese food. You know, that'd be awesome. That way we're not having to buy salads that we're not familiar with from these Japanese restaurants. You just get food that you know from the takeaway, eating app. You say, I like this and I like that, I'll buy it. I want this and I want that, I'll go and get that myself at the shops. And I'll come home and then I'll buy the Japanese food and I'll make this other stuff at home that I like while the Japanese food is coming along, and we can have Japanese food and anything else that we like. Now, fish and chips. Okay, why are you going to buy salad with fish and chips when you can make it yourself at home? Just buy the ingredients for salad and anything you like in it. Any dressing you want. Bread rolls, whatever. Pay for the fish and chips. Have a fish burger and chips and salad. Or like make up your own fish burger. You don't have to buy a fish burger from the shop. They're really yummy, but they're so expensive that you could make it yourself at home for cheaper. It's actually cheaper to buy your takeaway meal and actually prepare it into whatever you want at home. You don't have to buy an entire takeaway meal including a burger, which is going to be a lot more expensive to buy than it is to get 6-pack of bread rolls, stuff to make salad, then you just buy the fish and the chips, and then you prepare your own fish burger at home. It is so much cheaper than if you actually bought a fish burger and chips. I know there's logistics and economics and rubbish like that, but next time that Stacey comes over, I'm going to make a suggestion similar to what I'm talking about now. And I don't want anyone to be offended. I'm just saying that rather than just using Menulog and Eat Now and Uber Eats and Deliveroo and all these other takeaway apps to buy food, and then you don't eat anything out of the fridge which is great once in a while to not have to scrounge in the fridge. Once once a month, or after a hard day out, doing study or work or martial arts courses or whatever, then you can say, right, tonight I'm just getting a drink out of the fridge, like Coke or alcohol or whatever, and I'm going to bloody buy pizza, stuff the world. Yeah, once a week, or like on the weekend, or once every few weeks, maybe even every 3 months, do that. But not all the time. That's how I see it anyway. That's just the way I see it. Like right now at home I've got 2 bananas. I know that some people don't like bananas, but I do. And I don't know if you like bananas, Stephanie, but there's another person who we know who doesn't like bananas. Fair enough. But at the moment I've got bananas, I've got pawpaw or papaya, whatever you call it, papaya. And I've got cucumber, lettuce, tomato, and I've got watermelon. How hard is it to buy a couple of things from Menulog that you wouldn't do, such as chips, sushi, battered fish, crumbed fish, things that are hard to make at home? Buy those. And then while that's coming along, get the salad and the fruit ready. Get the fruit, salad and everything like that ready. Easy peasy. It just makes life so much easier. Anyway, I suppose whatever is all I can say, because everyone has to work things out to suit them, and sometimes life just gets in the way, and I agree entirely. I'm not saying it shouldn't get in the way, but when I have friends over, just don't take offence when I say it, but when I have friends over, I like to think that I can still get into my fridge and eat anything I like, regardless of what my friends choose to eat. But that's just how I view life, I suppose. Butter. Who doesn't love a little bit of butter? I'm going to be buying some more of those soft spreadable butters because they're always very nice, but at the same time I sometimes want that other, well, actually normal butter works just as well as soft spreadable butter. The difference between that is that this butter doesn't have oil in it, it is just butter. It's not mixed with canola oil. It's still fattening, but if you buy spreadable butter, it's more fattening because it's got stuff mixed in it. Now, this is probably why I think it's better to buy normal butter and use it in the cooking than it is to just get spreadable butter. But that's, again, that's my opinion. You could get whatever butter suits you. At the end of the day, it has to suit you what you want to buy. The other reason I like to buy butter is because if I accidentally leave the soft spreadable butter out, then I can chuck it in the bin because I do not eat rotten food. We aren't in World War III yet, according to American and Iranian sources, that is. So, I don't see the reason to eat rotten food. I just can't understand why we must eat rotten food when we're not in a fucking military conflict. When we don't have to survive with our lives every day. You just don't need to do all that shit. Just don't have to. It's just not necessary. I just leave butter out for exactly 20 minutes to half an hour. Half an hour at most. And put the butter on the bread. Put the butter on the bread. So, I'm just going to make that as a suggestion the next time anyone says, hey, what are you getting for dinner tonight? I'm getting Subway. I'm just going to say, look, I'm going to be making something, but I'm just going to buy chips and a drink from, say, Red Rooster or wherever I want the chips. But I'm going to be getting chips and a drink, and I'm going to be making stuff with like leftovers, like I'll be putting leftover chicken on bread with a few chips. But hey, if you want Subway, then get Subway. That's up to you. Nobody stops you from doing anything. I'm just saying what I'm going to do. So, yeah, if anybody offers to get takeaway, I'll say, alright, if you want to buy the fish and chips, I'll buy the food for the salad and I'll make the salad. You buy fish and chips, I'll make the salad. Things like that would be very helpful, I suppose. Anyway, we'll see what deal comes of all of this shit as time goes on. I'm having 2 sandwiches with a little bit of this and that on each bit of bread. I'm having a bit of stuff on the bread, a little bit of butter, a little bit of butter, and I'm going to be watching more Netflix while I eat as well. But I reckon that if we combined me making meals at home with takeaway food, we would be spending a lot less money on takeaway food. A lot less money. Like, a lot less. But anyway, I'm not very much an expert in economics, what would I know, but I'm just being honest, I know a bit more than I'm letting on, so I thought I would mention it in this recording. The other thing I'm considering, and I haven't done it yet because I don't know, my blog. I'm not getting very far with my blog anymore. There's a few reasons behind that which I'm not going into, but anyway, I'm not getting very far with my blog. I have considered deleting my blog and just keeping my YouTube account. The reason I haven't done that is because I'm a bit concerned that if one day I decide to start writing in the blog again and I don't have it, I'll end up making a new blog anyway. So rather than deleting this one and just making a new blog, I thought I would keep this blog. Then I don't need to make a new one. It's just that simple. That simple. Now I've got to put cream cheese on. I really forgot the cream cheese, oops. And I've got to make a habit of putting everything away that I don't want out anymore, because otherwise it's going to be completely fucked up. Absolutely fucked. So, we have cream cheese. For the bits of bread that I want cream cheese. I do want cream cheese on that. I like cream cheese, yum. I love cream cheese. Beautiful. I think cream cheese is gorgeous. I think cream cheese is bloody wonderful. I like to put a fair bit on there, just to say that I've done it, just to say how much I love eating cream cheese on bread, because I think it's fantastic. I think it's bloody gorgeous, having cream cheese on bread. Yum. Putting cream cheese on both the bits of bread. I don't like lumps, so I'm spreading those lumps out a bit, because yuck, not good. Don't like lumpy bits of stuff. Yuck. Yuck. Ugh. Yuck. Okay. Yum, yum, yum. How much do I like cream cheese? Absolutely yummy. But yeah, while I'm I'm going to take a while to make sandwiches, because one thing that we were taught in cooking class over 6 weeks was don't do anything quick just because everyone else says you can't. Take 10 minutes to make a sandwich, it only takes a few seconds. Well, you know what? If I'm making a really good fancy sandwich, it could take me an hour to do it. Well, as far as anybody's concerned, if people have a problem with that, then they can make my sandwich for me. Because if I want to take an hour to make a sandwich, I'll take an hour to make a sandwich. If I want 2 sandwiches, I'll have 2 sandwiches. I don't have to eat according to someone else's expectations of how they think I should eat. It's actually my life, and I can choose how I eat, thank you. It's not up to anyone to decide how I eat. Not up to anybody at all. That's my life, it's my choice how I eat. And if people cannot accept that I have my own routine, I do take all day to do things. What takes one person 20 minutes takes me freaking 3 hours, or whatever the case might be. Well, guess what? That is just how it is, and if you don't like it, then toot, because it is not going to change soon. If that's what you want, then you can cook yourself and you can feed me every day because you're in a hurry. Then feed me. I don't care. I don't really give a shit. It isn't really my problem anyway. If people want to make a big deal about something, that is up to them. I don't care. The reason I no longer care is because they aren't feeding me. I'm feeding me. And if it takes me all day to make something to eat, I'd rather take all day to make a meal than go hungry and not eat at all. That's the way I view things. If you think I'm slow, cook my dinner every night and shut up. Otherwise, leave me alone and let me cook. Otherwise, be quiet and cook for me without any complaints. Otherwise, just hush up and leave me alone while I cook, thanks. That's basically my message. If you want me to change, then you can deal with the problems that are associated with doing everything for me. Otherwise, please be quiet. Because I'm doing what works for me, not what works for you. That is how it is, and it is highly likely not going to change. If you want it to change, then you take over and you do it. There we go. Now spread that all out. If there's one thing I've worked out with mayonnaise, you put the sauce across the top of the bread, then you spread the top of the pie, of the layer, or layer of sauce, spread it down to make a flat layer all over the bread. That's what I've decided works for me. Once again, everyone does what works. If you don't like how I do it, then you can do it and don't complain about me. Up to you, but I wouldn't be complaining too much if I were you, because everyone knows I can cook. So yeah. Anyway, that's just how it is. But anyway, back to what I wanted to say with regards to making sandwiches. Sorry, I was going to talk about something else while I was making sandwiches and I've forgotten. I had to decide what I was going to even talk about, let alone what. God. Just going to put a little bit of lettuce on each bit of bread. So divide that in half. Okay, and then put other stuff on top of that. Lettuce and parsley and everything. Yum. Yummy. Different types of lettuce and parsley. That's good. That's what I like the most. I'll be back to buy more of it. Yum. Everyone thinks, oh, you just want a head of iceberg lettuce. No, I don't just want a head of iceberg lettuce. I would have told you. If that's all I wanted, I would have just said, hey, I just want iceberg lettuce. But no. I'm thinking of lettuce as in varieties of lettuce with parsley mixed in. Yum. Beautiful. Yummy. Yum. Nice. Now, I'm going to do a bit of whatever on each sandwich. Whoops, hang on. Tomato. Another bit of tomato. Lucky I don't need a lot of tomato. Then I want onion and cucumber. I don't want any more tomatoes. I do want onions and cucumber. So that's enough onion for that bit of bread. And onion for the other bit of bread. That's plenty. And I need a bit more cucumber. Okay, that's perfect for that bit. Then I'm just going to put the bread on top. Now I need cucumber and a bit more onion. Another bit of bread. I want cucumber. I'll cut it up and I can't find it. Oh, Jesus. That's tomato and that's cucumber. Okay. Stack that on. Oh, oops, hang on. Dropped it everywhere. Shit. Dropping that literally everywhere. Yuck, it's going everywhere. Get back on there. Okay. Shit. This is what I call a really yummy sandwich. Yum. Yum. My sandwiches are made. And it might have taken a while, but do I give a shit? No, I don't. Now I forgot to add chicken, so I'm just going to put that away and then put chicken on the bread, which isn't going to take much doing anyhow. Won't really. Now, I'm going to open the box of chicken. Now, I'm just going to put chicken on that and gently, oh no, wait, fuck. Close that up. Okay. Oops, wait. Oh no, I've just dropped stuff everywhere. Put that onto the other piece of, put that in again because it didn't need to come out. Now, okay, I'm now going to put chicken in that. Right, didn't have to come out of that. You put all that other stuff back in there. Okay, good, I've got the chicken on there. Excellent, got it on there. Yum, 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 yum. Sandwiches are yummy. Yum. I like sandwiches. Yum. I love chicken sandwiches, beautiful. Okay, so that's all done. That is all done. I was meant to talk about something and I've completely forgotten. Can't remember. Wouldn't have a clue what I was meant to talk about. I don't know. Wouldn't have a clue. I was meant to bloody talk about something and I've just bloody forgot. Damn it, what was it? Oh well, I can't remember. I'll think of it next time. In any case, I'm not going to try to cook to someone else's expectations. If anybody doesn't like my cooking, or I'm taking too long to make a sandwich, or whatever the case, too bad. That's how they want to be. That's just too bad. I don't particularly care anyway, because, you know, like, it's honestly a load of bullshit. It's honestly rubbish. It just doesn't need to be a big shit fight over how long it takes me to cook. It just doesn't need to be a shit fight. Actually, that's what I like. I like to think that I can make my meal, put it on the table, then come over here and clean up before eating. Because then I know that everything's put away. If I had other people around, they could say, listen, sit down to eat, I can clean up, you've been cooking all evening. Fine, I'll sit down to eat and let other people clean up. And then I can go and double check that everything's put away later and say, hey, you forgot this, you forgot that. But or otherwise I might say, yeah, everything's all good. But if it's just me alone, I think it's easier to actually clean up and then sit down to eat. Because the sandwich isn't running away. The sandwich isn't going to go rotten in the next 10 minutes that it takes me to clean up. In an ideal world, I could sit down to eat immediately and then clean up, but then I just forget things. I forget what I'm doing. And then I leave things out. And all kinds of shit goes on. No, I'd have water now and then, maybe a cuppa. Might make a cuppa now, actually. Actually, not much. There's plenty of water in there. Have just a small cup of coffee. Definitely sugar. It's sugar. Got this sulphide, no, oh, yuck. Ooh. Yuck. Ugh. Yuck. Right,
Speed. Stop. Pause. Button.
I'm done. So I'm now going to stop this recording and upload it. Oh my god, now that I've got 35 gigabytes of data, I can actually upload recordings a bit more. Wow. This is freaking amazing. Okay guys, I hope you guys, all you guys on YouTube are having a good afternoon or evening. I've now got my 2 sandwiches and cup of coffee. I'll ramble on. I think I'm going to start rambling on about how much cheaper it is to make your own coffee and meals at home versus buying takeaway food and cafe style stuff, which is good once in a while when you have to buy food out, but it's so much cheaper to make meals at home, and I can explain why when I do another discussion.
Stop.
Or do
Button.
another recording.